All right, Shalom. Kohalayam La, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the Akim Wakwaf that scattered about the four corners of the earth. And Shalom Labakarium, Shal Yasharallah. Peace to the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom. All right. And the title of this lesson really is just going to be 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter, verse 28 through 33. All right. I don't really have a title for this lesson, but I was inspired to do this lesson, of course, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, first and foremost, which daily gives us the spiritual eye salve to see prophecy, which the word prophecy means to say before. And we've been commanded to be occupied in prophecy because that's the time that we're living in. All right. You got, in the talk right now, you got, Armageddon, which is Harmagadwan, which is in the Hebrew, mountain of troops, which really it consists of World War III. But before World War III can actually break out, you have to have the implementation of the rice grain, which is Revelation 13 and 16 on down, where no man can buy or sell. And that's the subdermal implant that is going to be required around the world. But as for the elect, the elect is not taking that shit. All right, they're going to be preserved through these perilous times that we're coming into. All right, so I was watching the brother GMS Awakening 144 Ha I'm a One Gabar, which I'm gonna link his video in the description box, as well as the Apostle Tahar on his commentary on Revelation 16 verse 16. But the title of the brother Amawan Gabar, he titled his lesson "This is the Real Deal." The ultimate destruction is drawing closer and closer. All right, and as that brother was speaking, which was a very edifying lesson, because he went into the word vanguard and broke that down and talked about Russia and a bunch of other things. And I couldn't really write down the notes for it because I was at work, but it was an edifying lesson. But as I was listening, the Spirit gave me 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter, verse 28, all right, which goes into Harmagadwan, which is going to take place, like it says in verse 28, behold, in horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east. All right, what is the east talking about? It's talking about the Levant, which is the center of the Middle East. And the elder Apostle Tahar broke that down and went into that. But that's where the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is Yahweh's Shaphat, Yahweh's judgment, is going to be declared upon, these nations. All right. But again, before that even happens, Revelation 13 and 16 has to take place. All right. So, I mean, I was, going into reading this particular chapter right here, that the Lord has given me to, do. And got a few precepts that came to mind, through the Spirit. But, I hope your brothers and few sisters are edified. And Salakia, I'm all over the place, but, just going with the Spirit. So again, 2nd Esdras 15, verse 28, behold, an horrible vision. Another word for horrible is a terrifying vision, and the appearance thereof from the east. Again, it's talking about the Middle East, the Levant. All right. Joel chapter 2, Joel chapter 3. All right. Those are examples. All right. And before I continue, I'm going to go to Revelation chapter 16, verse 16. Or Salaki, before that, I want to go to Revelation chapter 9, verse I'm gonna go to Revelation 9 chapter. Yeah, Revelation 9 chapter. Verse 12. Salaki, I'm all over the place. I'm gonna start at 11. And they had a king over them, which is talking about Kaiser Wilhelm, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in Greek have his name Apollyon, which both mean destroyer, because this whole chapter alone goes into World War One, the first woe. As it's going to say in the next verse, one woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter. All right, and that's talking about World War Two, which World War Two already passed. You know, the end of that was the beginning of it was like 1938, 39 to like about 1945. All right, but it says there come two woes more hereafter. So there's still another world war that has to take place. As it says in Revelation chapter 11, verse 14, the second woe is past, World War II, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. All right, and it talks about what type of war that's going to be in Isaiah, the 9th chapter. All right, let me go there real quick. All right, this is Isaiah chapter 9. As soon as I can get there. Isaiah chapter 9, verse 5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. And that was ancient battles that were taking place where they had maul chained armor. You know, they were carrying swords and you know, bucklers and shields and daggers and you name it. You know, chopping off limbs, and you heard screams and roars in a battlefield. But it says, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. And what is that talking about? The ICBM missiles. All right, that's the modern day sword that is in the earth right now. All right, and that's what the third world war is going to consist of, or nuclear firepower. All right, let me go to Isaiah chapter 54, verse 16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire. Now, the ancient smith was a blacksmith, all right, where he forged weapons. You know, he dipped the sword in water and fire, and he used the anvil and so on and so forth. But the modern day smith are the scientists, which the Lord has given them the mind to create these particular weapons for their own destruction. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. What type of work is it? All right, which I'm gonna go to next. Bringing forth an instrument for his work. I have created the waster to destroy. All right, talking about the missiles, man. It's gonna waste everything in its path. All right, Jeremiah chapter 50, verse let me see. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 25. The Lord hath opened his armory and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation, which is righteous anger. For this is the work of the Lord, power of hosts, in the land of the Chaldeans. So part of the Lord's armory are these missiles. The word Lord of hosts means the Lord of armies, or the Lord of Sabaoth. And one of the Lord's armies is the missiles, which talks about in Joel the 2nd chapter. All right, it goes into that in Revelation the 9th chapter as well. But that's you know, World War III that's going to take place. All right, so now I want to go back to let me see. I'm gonna go to Revelation 16, verse 16, and then jump back to where I was at in 2nd Esdras. So this is Revelation chapter 16, verse start at verse 15. All right. This is the words of Yahweh Shai. Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth. And that's the command that the Lord has given us. Watch as well as pray, that we may be accounted worthy. All right. That's what we're supposed to be doing daily, being vigilant, speaking to myself first and foremost, being vigilant, praying without cease, daily, in these scriptures, being diligent, so that when the Lord comes as a thief, we won't be caught off guard like the rest of these people, All right. Because of the rest of these people, when all hell breaks loose, they're not going to be stable. All right. They're not going to know what to do. They're not going to know how to maneuver in these perilous times that's to come. But the men of the Lord, starting with the elect, they're going to know how to maneuver because they've been occupied in prophecy. They've been occupied in these instructions, and they have the faith, the wisdom, and the knowledge to keep them stable. All right. And it says, and keepeth his garments, which is talking about this truth. You can go to Isaiah, the 52nd chapter, where it talks about put on thy strength, thy garments, roughly paraphrasing, but it's talking about this truth. Lest he walk naked and they see his shame. All right. Verse 16, and he gathered them together into a place in the Hebrew tongue, Armageddon, which is Harmagawan, which, is mountain of the troops. All right. So now I want to go back to 2nd Esdras chapter 15, verse 29, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Also the Carmanians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood. And the Carmanians is talking about Iran. All right. It's talking about Iran, which is also known as, or formerly known as, Persia. All right. Because they changed their name, I want to say around like 1935. They were formerly known as Persia, but they changed their name into Iran. So also the Carmanians, again, which is Iran, Persia, which is also an ally of Russia. All right. It talks about that in Ezekiel, the 38th chapter. I want to say the 5th verse to be exact. But that's a Russia. That's an ally of Russia. And with great power shall they come. And that made me think of Joel, the 3rd chapter, which Lord willing, soon I'm going to get. And with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. All right. And the land of the Assyrians is talking about America, because America is spiritually known as Basra, Syria, Sodom, and Egypt, Nineveh. All right. It's spiritually known of all these places. All right. That's talking about America and what's going to waste America. We read it in Isaiah, the 54th chapter, the waster to destroy these missiles. All right. So let me see. I got another precept. Let me see. This is Isaiah 24, verse 1. Behold, the Lord Yahweh maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scattered abroad the inhabitants thereof. The waster to destroy, the missiles, man, the ICBM missiles. And if you go down to verse 20, it talks about the earth reeling to and fro like a drunkard, man. All right. So all of this is prophecy, man. That's going to take place. All right. Let me see. Let me go to Joel chapter 3, verse, I'll start at 1, and then I'm going to jump down. For behold, in those days, and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, which valley is a low land, which is in the Middle East, the Levant of Jehoshaphat, which Jehoshaphat is Yahweh's Shaphat, Yahweh's judgment, and I will plead with them, meaning judge, there for my people and for my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And that's the only nation that Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua is dealing with. Like the Lord said, I have loved you, Jacob, but hated Esau. All right. And Israel consists of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. It's not talking about the Gentiles, which is going to go into verse 9, because Gentiles are you got two type of Gentiles. You got the Israelite foreigners, which have been scattered amongst the Gentiles, diaspora, all right, because it was a curse for our disobedience, and we took on the ways and the customs of these Gentiles, these heathens, all right, and that's why we're before this truth is knowledge and wisdom, we were considered Gentiles, all right, but then you got the original Gentiles, which are these heathen nations, all right. Joel chapter 3, verse 9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Another word for proclaim is declare, meaning to announce publicly. All right. Prepare war, wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. All right, which plowshares and pruning hooks are agricultural farming instruments. All right, and it said beat those farming instruments into swords and spears, which the modern day sword and spear is these ICBM missiles. All right, and it made me think of I may be wrong, Tubal Cain, which means traveling weapon, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so that's the modern day sword and spear. Another precept came to mind is glittering spear. All right. Let the weak say, I am strong. All right. The weak being these weaker nations, because at a point in time, U.S. was known as, the top dog in the world, man, because of the nuclear capability that they had alone. Going back to World War II, Hiroshima and I forgot I think it was Fat Man and Little Boy, the name of the bombs, but I may be wrong, I got to go back into it, but they had that nuclear capability. All right, but now you got these smaller nations that have the same nuclear capability as these world superpowers, as America, Russia, or China. They let the weak say I'm strong. All right. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about, man. And that's plain, man. That is plain. The Lord is not dealing with you fucking heathen. All right. The Lord said he's going to judge you, heathen, because you parted the Lord's land, which says back in verse 2. So the Lord got a bone to pick with you, heathen, man. All right. Now I want to go to Isaiah chapter 34, verse 1. Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. All right, and how are the other nations hearing or taking heed? All right, by the sound of the trumpet, which is this word, man. A trumpet is a musical instrument which plays or blows out musical notes. All right, and this truth is likened unto music. It's likened unto a song. All right, these spiritual lyrics. And the men that's on the highways and the byways are blowing that trumpet. All right, because we're not only a prophet, Lord willing, we be even the Lord's prophets, the righteous prophets. We're not a prophet unto just the house of Israel alone, man, but unto these other nations as well. And they're hearing the same message. All right. So I wanted to get that real quick. Let me see. So back in 2nd Esdras 15, verse 31, and then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature, and if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them, then these shall be troubled, and keeps bled, and keep silence through their power, and shall flee. And from the land of the Assyrians shall the enemy besiege them and consume some of them, and in their hosts shall be fear and dread and strife among their kings. So this is what's coming down the road, man. All right. This is what's coming down the road. I got one more precept and then I'm gonna close out. This is Jeremiah chapter 28, verse 8, and this is a basic precept. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war. Rumors of wars are going on right now, which indicate that the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai is almost here. That's one of the major signs. Measure the times diligently. All right. Against great kingdoms of war and of evil, bad times, and of pestilence. And you got just as of earlier this morning, I was on Google trending, and it's talking about Ebola outbreak in Uganda, which I haven't really went into it that much, but I took a peek at it. But you got pestilence, you got the Boost Mobile, you got the MP, just to name a few. But all of these things indicate that the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai is near and he's about to deliver his people, man. So, first and foremost, saying it to myself, just stay prayed up, stay watching, man, stay diligent in his word. Stay measuring the times diligently, because we're almost out of here, man. We're almost out of here. And, the Lord is about to do some things, man. So I hope your brothers and few sisters were edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. And in closing, I want to say, Kol Halayim La, Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the Akim Wakwaf that scattered abroad the four corners of the earth. And Shalom Labakarium, Shal Yasharala, Shalom.